Hello, everyone. Steve Crawford here, and welcome back to the 7-Minute Spotlight. This is where we discuss stories, ideas, and concepts to help encourage us and inspire us in our daily lives. And today, this is a personal story. It's very important for Mary and I. It goes back to time setting for this is in the late 60s, early 70s. And it's about a lady that my parents knew, and then subsequently we knew a little bit. Her name was Mrs. Vogley. It was Pauline Vogley. The town that we lived in, Aberdeen, South Dakota at the time. Mrs. Vogley helped my mom out as help cleaning. And just basically could say she was a cleaning lady. Now, the irony of this story is really kind of interesting. My mom was a perfectionist, very meticulous housekeeper. Why did my mom need somebody to come clean her already clean house? Well, it was years later that I finally figured this out. Again, that era, people that were in their, say, 60s, 70s, and maybe beyond had grown up during the Depression. And that generation just did not ask for help. They didn't expect help. Back during the Depression, you didn't have resources where you could give help. And so there was kind of an honor of not just handing out charity, but in Mom's case, she had this lady come help clean, and it was a way that Mom could give her money without it just being charity. And Mrs. Vogley lived, she was a widow. She lived on her husband's Social Security income, and that was it. She had a paid for house, but had to cover utilities, taxes, groceries, and things like that. So I'm certain money was tight, and that's why my mom did it. Generosity lesson number one. But Mary and I were married in 1976, and it was on a Saturday. We left the next day for our honeymoon, and we got back about a week later. So then that Monday, say it's about 10 days or so after we got married, we had a get together at our house, which was, simple beginnings. We started out in a 14-foot by 70-foot trailer house that was comfortable for us at the time, and we were newlyweds. It was great, but we had family, friends, close relatives visiting our house that night, and we opened up our gifts. There were many gifts, a lot of cool stuff that we got. We had been registered for, the China and the different things that you get with the wedding, and a typical just opening of gifts. And here we are 50 years later, and there's two gifts that I remember. One in particular was Mary's Aunt Franny had hand knitted an Afghan for us, basically a blanket. And, that was something that obviously from the heart, she spent the time to make that. That was a great memory. But another one that has impact on me yet to this day was we got a wedding card, opened it up, and it was from Mrs. Pauline Vogley. And in that card was two $1 bills. That still has a profound emotional impact on me today. Here was a widow lady that had very little, but she thought enough to honor our marriage, to honor our wedding, that she gave from what she didn't have two $1 bills. Generosity lesson number two. And there's a story in the Bible about a widow lady that gives two coins, two copper coins that sometimes are referred to as a penny, but she gave out of her poverty as opposed to people that give out of their wealth. Now, I'm not criticizing anybody that has great wealth and what you're doing with your money to give it away. That's great. I honor that. But the lesson that I learned from my mom and from Mrs. Vogley is that, one, sometimes we have to look at opportunities where we can be generous to other people and help them. The second is sometimes we have to let people honor us by accepting a small gift. A good friend of mine, Dan Gordon, who is one of our employees for a long period of time, shared with me one time, Steve, in order to be a good giver, sometimes you have to be a good receiver. So that's our question for today. That might be our challenge. Are we good givers? And are we good receivers? When we receive something, sometimes it's easy to say, oh, no big deal, or, oh, that, or even when we give, well, it wasn't that big a deal or whatever. No, if we took the time to give a gift, we should give it out of love and the expectation that the people that are receiving it can use it. Likewise, when we receive something, large or small, we should acknowledge the importance of the fact that that person gave to us. And in the case of Mrs. Vogley, a widow lady in Aberdeen, South Dakota. Of all the gifts that we received for our wedding, it's the one that I remember the most. Two $1 bills out of somebody that took, or from somebody that took the time and cared, that they wanted to acknowledge our wedding. And it's a story that we share 50 years later, and we expect to be sharing it many, many times over. So have a great week. What are your opportunities to be generous? What are your opportunities to receive? What are your opportunities to show love to one another? We really enjoy being able to share these stories with you. We love hearing from you. Our contact information is on the screen. If you would like to send us an email or a text, we'd be glad to have a conversation with you about this. And let's remember, generosity is probably one of the best gifts that we can share. God has been generous with us. We can be generous with others, and we can be generous in our receiving along with giving. God bless you all. We'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.